Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you for the DeKalb County Library, and I wanted to do some rings. I just rings. Let's just do some rings. I wanted to do some really bold, large rings, and I'm going to show you a really easy wrap. And yes, I used the word easy to make these rings. I've made a couple of them. They're so, holding them down there under the other camera. And they're really easy to do, but I wanted to make large ones. I wanted to make them very large so that you could see something that you could do. I made this one a little small, I might redo it. Something that you could do to wear during colder months, or something that you wanted to just make a little statement out of your rings. Or you might have one bead that you can't do anything with because it's just one bead and it's too small to make a pendant and not enough to make earrings like my beautiful little labradorite that I have here. I don't know if you can catch all of the wonderful colors that flash through there. Probably see it better down under the other camera. But I wanted to do that. I've got the barrel shaped one, I've got the oblong one, and I've got a round one that's an octagon. I've got this beautiful, what is that? Recycled glass. So I wanted to show you how you can take one wrap ring design and do several different rings out of it, several different shapes. So that's what we're going to do today. You'll just need your usual tools, your round nose pliers. The barrels are round all the way around. Starts a little wider at the bottom and tapers up to almost a tip at the top. You've got your square nose pliers slightly rounded on the outside, but a marked difference from the round pliers. They also start wide at the bottom and taper up to a little pointier tip on the inside. Should be smooth and flat. When you buy these in the store, make sure it doesn't have those grips on them because that will chew up your wire when you're working with it. You'll also need a pair of cutters, just wire cutters that I'm going to use. And you'll also need something to make your ring size. Find something that's about the size of your ring. Wrap a piece of string around whatever you're using, wrap it around your finger, and then wrap it around different things in the house. I'm actually going to use the end of this hammer. And is that what I was going to use? Yeah. And use that and make your ring. Or you can get a ring mandrel. You can do that. You don't have to do that. Let me see. Am I going to use this? I think I might use this. But some kind of a cylindrical item that's about the size of your finger that you can use to make it. Now, when you're sizing yourself, when you're sizing your finger, when you choose a size, go a size larger than your finger, because for some reason, when you're making your ring, it shrinks up. And I don't know if it's because of the wrap that goes around the side, it could be, but whatever, make it a size larger so that when you finish, you'll have the right size for your finger. I don't know the mechanics behind that or why it does that, but it just does. So let's go ahead and get down here to the mat and get started. Okay, I'm going to start with my beautiful labradorite. It's so pretty. I wish I had another one to make earrings, but I don't. So a ring it is. So I'm going to do that. And what I need is about 2 feet of wire. I didn't mention the wire before. I'm using 22 gauge wire. 22 gauge wire. I'm going to be wrapping this several times. So that makes it nice and strong. Very strong. And another reason is because the holes in natural stones can be very small and 20 gauge wire may not fit. So you want to take that into consideration. You can use 20 gauge wire, just check your bead or your stone to make sure that the drill point is large enough for that wire to go through. See, this is pretty tight. So I'm using 22 gauge wire today. So 2 feet of 22 gauge wire. I'm going to slide it on my wire, the bead, and right in the middle of my wire. And then I'm going to, let's check and make sure it's as close to the middle as I can get. Sorry, you can't see all the wire on camera because it's just too long. So let's get that in the middle of my wire here. Back over there. Okay, and then I'm going to bend the wire on each side of my bead, just straight down on the sides, like so. So that it rests right in this little kind of cradle, just like that. So then I'm going to grab your cylindrical item that you're going to use to make your ring, and I'm going to slide my bead on, just like that. And just hold my bead steady on my cylindrical item. And then I'm going to wrap the wire around 2 times in the front with one side of my wire. And then I flip that around and go around 2 times on the other side. Pull that nice and snug. And then go around 2 times on the other side. It's going to be fidgety because it's not anchored yet. Okay, there we go. So then I'm going to squeeze these wires together. Get back over there. I don't want my wires to cross over. Let's check that, make sure that's not happened. And if it has, just correct it before we get anything anchored. Let's slide my wires close to each other, like so. So I have one wire sticking out one side, one on the other side. Let's turn it over, make sure there's no crossover going on. And if there is, let's correct that. All right, get together. Okay, let's slide everything together. Double check, it's very slippery. Side by side, not crossed over. You might have to pull it a few times just to get it tight. Here we go. And it's going to be loose for right now, just because, again, it's not anchored. So now I'm going to take it off the mandrel. Just hold on to it with my fingers. Make sure all the wires are secure in my hands. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, I think I need another wrap on there. Oh, there it is. There you are. This needs to be over here. You need two in the front and two in the back. Let's slide it back on here and just double check. Make sure everything's in order. Yes, there we go. Now slide that off. Keep my wires together. And now I just need to wrap around the shank. This is the shank of my ring. So now I'm just going to wrap my wires around the shank. So I'm going to go ahead, sure everything's nice and even, and I'm going to bring this wire through the center of my ring. Push that through. It's easier to do it this way than it is to poke it through with the tail, with the end. I think you have more control when you do it this way. So I'm going to wrap that around one time. And then again, just push that through. Let's take it through one more time, like 3 nice wraps. There we go. Push everything together so that it's as neat as you can get it. And I'm going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Just wrap that around, push it through the ring. It's kind of a push-pull motion. Let's go through again. And one more time. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to grab my pliers and kind of neaten up my little rings here. Push those together. Now, if you want to, you can wrap more times. You don't have to stop here. You don't have to stop with 3 wraps. It's entirely up to you. Push those together. There we go. Very good. Do you need one more wrap over here? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1. Squeeze it together. 2 and 3. Yes, there we go. So now I've got that together. So what I need to do now is wrap around the, well, actually, this is the shank. I said that was the shank. It's not. I need to wrap around the ring itself just to anchor everything. So I'm going to wrap that twice under the ring, all the way around. And then I'm going to wrap twice from the other side. Now you can do this one of 2 ways. You can wrap after the first wrap, you can wrap this around under the ring. After your first wrap around the ring, the body itself, and then do the other wraps, or you can do it after you've done the wraps. It depends on the look that you're going for. So now I've got that wrapped around there. I need to wrap again around the side, which is probably why it would have been better for me to wrap it around the side one time and then around the shank. But I want, number one, I want to use up this wire and I want to build up on the side here. Okay. And then let's do that again on this side. And it depends on the look that you're after. If you're looking for something a lot neater than what you're going to see when I finish, You can wrap, well, I'll show you that on the next one. I'll show you a different way to wrap it around. So there, I have a nice buildup on the side. And now let's cut this off. And one of the reasons I like a nice buildup is because when I cut this, I have something that I can squeeze my little tip down into so that it doesn't scratch me when I'm wearing it. So let's cut that off as close as I can get underneath. Okay. And then push that tail down into the other little wraps so that it won't cause me any grief. As a matter of fact, what I would suggest is that you cut it a little closer to the side, because when you start pushing that down, twisting that down into the other wraps, it's going to shift over to the side. So I cut that off a little bit closer to the side here. There's my tip. I'm going to use my pliers, push that down in there. See how I twisted that? So the tip is now underneath. Squeeze those wraps closer together, a little neater. Okay, let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Cut this right off on the side, holding on to my wire so it doesn't go flying. There's my little tip. Just twist that down and nice and close. Kind of smush it down in between the other rings. Let's neaten that up a little bit. And then I'm going to put it back on my cylindrical item. See how I told you it would shrink? It shrinks right up. Put it back on there. Make sure that the shape and the sizing is correct. Make sure it's right in the middle, the way I want it. Turn it around. Oops. Then turn it around and do it on the other side as well so that both sides are nicely fitted. Here we go. And there's my little ring. And then you can take a little time to kind of fit the little rings nice and neat the way you want them. And then I have a ring. There it is. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Ah, isn't that beautiful? I love labradorite. It's just so gorgeous. Every time you look at it, it looks different. Let's make another one. This time I'm going to use this really large round um, recycled glass. So again, I'm going to take 2 feet of wire, slide my bead on down to the center. Let's put my little tails together so I can find my center. Here we go. And then fold the ends down. But decide what this on both sides look fine. But decide which side you want to be the top and which side you want to be the bottom. Then fold the wires down so that your bead is just sitting right there in the little pocket. And when you have a ring that doesn't have a uh, what is the word? A symmetrical shape, I guess, then you need to decide which way you want to go on it. There's a lot going on this bead. So what is that? That's something on there. Nope, that's the bead. Isn't that neat? Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap. I'm going to go ahead and slide it on my little makeshift mandrel. Okay, and I'm going to wrap one side around twice. Hold on to this. It's going to really, a round one is a challenge to hold. Let's wrap that around one time, get out of my way. And a second time. Okay. And then do the same thing on this side. Just wrap it around once. And then twice on the other side. Okay. Keep all my little rings together and check to make sure nothing's crossed over. Okay, there we go. Not too shabby. Okay, there we go. And nice and snug. And now remember how I said I was going to show you a different way to do it? So everything is nice and together. All my wires are together. We'll make sure nothing's crossed over there. And now I'm going to, last time I did the wrap around the ring part first, but this time I'm going to wrap under the bead first. So let's wrap that around. Once, twice, and then do the same thing on the other one. Wrap it around once. Come on, work with me here. And twice. And it depends on how much wire you want. That looks pretty good. Yeah. And this is very raised. So you can add another wrap under there if you want. I think I might just go another half wrap. Yeah, that's pretty. I want to do another half. I have space. Make sure it's nicely centered. Let's see what that would look like. Yes, I like it. Let's give it another half wrap. All right. Okay, let's take that off. That one's like a little stray. Let's take it off, push my little wires together, and let's get ready to wrap around the ring part. All right, so let's start on this side. Check my little rings, make sure they're side by side and not crossed over. Okay, squeeze those together. Let's wrap one side around the actual ring itself. There we go, like that. Two wraps. And again, notice how I'm not poking it through with the tail because You don't have as much control when you do that. You can get a much tighter wrap if you stay close to the ring and push through close to the ring. Good. That nice and neat. And again, if you want to do more than 3 wraps, you can. Squeeze that together. Give it one more time around. Okay. Now let's go to the other side. Secure that side. Okay, and push that through close to the rings. Next one. Let's go through again. And once more. Okay, let's get this nice and tight. Neaten that up a bit. Squeeze those together. Sir. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to do one more on this side. One more. There we go. Nice. Okay, let's cut everything off. Make sure it's nice and neat. My little rings are together. Let's cut this little tail off. I keep wrapping it around because I just like I like the wire look. Okay, so let's snip that off. I'm going to snip it right here on the side. You would think you would snip underneath, but when I push it down, it's going to tighten the wire, and the wire is going to scoot underneath my ring. So I want to make it sure it's underneath and not on the side. See how when I do that, it tightens around the ring and then it ends up underneath. And I can push it down right by the other rings so that it's not poking up and ready to do my finger damage when I go to put it on. Good. Push that over a little bit. And let's cut this one off. Right on the side. I didn't hold that tightly enough. And then let's push that down and around until it's nicely ensconced underneath. There we go. And there's my ring. Go in and neaten it up a little bit. Make sure your little wires are resting the way you want them. Stacked on top of each other, but nicely to the sides. See how I said it would shrink? This one did. Now I'm going to have to wear that on my other finger, which is fine. I can either wear them on my middle finger. It's like, nah, not going on there. There we go. Yeah, that's my ring finger, which is why I didn't do it on this. Because if I do it on my ring finger, it ends up being for my pinky. There we go. There it is. Isn't that neat? I love it. Should I do one more? I could do this smaller one. Yeah, I think I've shown you enough. You get the gist. I might do this one off camera. Oh, I love it. I love these so much. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give you one more. Let's just do this one more. So I need 2 feet. Where's my ruler? 2 feet. And 2 feet is a good rule of thumb. You may need more than that if you have a much, much bigger size. This is about an inch. All right, I decided I can add an extra one. This is about an inch, and it took the 2 feet. And I didn't have a lot left over, but it was enough. So, as a rule of thumb, unless you're going to do something really huge, 2 feet should be enough for any ring. If you think you need a few inches more, go for it. But 2 feet should do it. So let's go ahead and slide on my bead. Find the center. Okay. And fold it down on the sides of my bead like so. It's going to be pretty. Is that a spider? Oh, come on. We cannot still have mosquitoes. It's too late in the season. What's going on? Go away. Okay. I thought it was a spider at first drifting down from the ceiling, but I think it was a mosquito. It's probably going to get me. Okay, so I'll put it on my little cylindrical item like so. And wrap it twice on one side. 1, 2. And twice on the other side. And 2. Get around there. I know. Okay, let's check, make sure everything's in its place. It is. And someone's knocking at my door. Hold on just a second. Just hold that thought. You've got it wrapped around twice on each side, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so now we're ready to wrap around the base here. Double check, make sure there's no overlap going on here. Yes. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is wrap underneath my bead. So I'm going to bring it around, pinch that in a little bit, one time, and then again, and the same on this one time, and then again. I have more wraps than I usually have around here, but that's okay. Makes it nice and sturdy. So now I'm ready to take it off my cylindrical item. Oh, I'm off of there. My goodness. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I did an extra wrap under here. That's going to be interesting and pretty. Don't know how I did it, but I did. So let's go ahead and wrap around the ring itself on the sides. So I'm going to push one through. Get that nice and tight. Push it through the ring. Let's get that first one nice and snug. And then follow with the next ones. Let's wrap that around. And one more time around. Here we go. Squeeze those together. Pretty. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Let's wrap it around and push it through. Once again, right beside the first one. And one more time. Ooh, just enough. That little extra wrap really took my excess away. As long as you have at least an inch and a half to 2 inches, I'd say 2 inches is a good rule of thumb to wrap around your ring. You'll be fine. I like 3 wraps because I think it is prettier than just 2. Plus, I hate to lose my wire, but it's up to you. I would give it at least 2 wraps. You need at least 2 wraps in order to secure all of these wires. So what I'm doing now is just tightening this a little bit. Then I'm going to cut off that tail. Right here on the side. And this is very short, so I'm gonna, I'm gonna turn it down into the little well here so that it'll just drop down in and not go flying. Yeah. And I'm gonna take my square pliers. There's the little tip. I'm going to just smooth that down and around. So that it rests underneath. It's, there it is. There it is. The other way. There we go. Yeah, put this down there. You should nice and close. You should be able to poke it in between the wires that are down here so that you don't feel it when you're wearing it. That's the whole thing. And if you're making it for somebody else, you definitely don't want any pokey tails every time they put on their ring. Otherwise, they're not going to want to wear it. I mean, who would? Okay, let's go to the other side and let's clip that off. Straighten these up a little bit. And if it's sticking out the opposite direction, you might want to correct that, because if it's sticking up, it's going to be hard to push it down the other way when you want to. So just go ahead and make sure that the wire is going in the direction that you want it to go, which is under your ring, and then cut it off right here on the side. And then push down that little tip. I like to just scooch it around. Let's check my little rings. All nicely side by side. Ooh, that's nice. Neaten that up a little bit if you need to. Make sure your ring is centered. It's a little off center, so let's fix that. There we go. Squeeze that down. There it is. There's my little ring. Squeeze that down a little closer. And just fix it until it looks the way you would like it to look. Don't stress too much about what's going on underneath, because people are only going to see the top and sides. Oh, yes. There's my ring. There's my ring. There's my ring. So we have had a very successful, we didn't make this one on camera, but we've had a very successful little tutorial today. These came out lovely. These are the ones I did off camera, and then of course the one I have on. See how simple that is? You can beat these in like, well, it took me probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes on camera. But you can make these in just a very, very, very few minutes and have a beautiful ring. And gift giving season is here. So just think of all the lovely gifts that you could give your friends, relatives, anybody who would appreciate a really pretty statement ring, which is what these are. Go for it. Absolutely go for it, because this is awesome. It's too big. This would be an awesome ring to give people. I don't have anything to rest these on except my fingers. But you get the drift. These are my rings. Oh, gee whiz. Okay, they're not going to cooperate. But these are my rings. This is my tutorial for the day, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope that you will make your own rings. Let's get down here and see if I can get a better view. Yes, I hope that you'll do this. I hope that you'll make your own rings and make some rings for friends and family and have a really good time doing it. And honestly, this is kind of unisex, because you can make this easily for male or female, depending on what kind of bead you use. So that's it, folks. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you'll let me know one way or the other if you did. And if you didn't, please let me know why. I'd really love to know. I'm finished. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can contact me by email at jewelrygen20 at gmail.com. That's JEWELRYGIN20 at gmail.com. You can leave comments and pictures, please. Pictures, I'd love to see them on the library Facebook page, which is facebook.com/DeKalb Library. That's DeKalb Library. You can also leave comments on the library YouTube page, which is youtube.com/DeKalb County Public Library. DeKalbCountyPublic. Please let me hear from you and let me know where you hail from. I would love to know what you think and what you thought and what you're going to do with these little in this little inspiration for rings. Until next time, I hope you have a great week, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you later. Bye bye.